there guys, so today I'm going to be doing a movie review of The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies. So, just a little bit of a backstory first. I grew up with Lord of the Rings. It's like, I went to go see the movies in theaters, so I went to go see the first movie when I was 5. So, I quite literally grew up with Lord of the Rings and Tolkien. And when I heard that they're going to be doing The Hobbit, I broke down in tears. Not inside, but I physically broke out into tears. And, just knowing that this was the last Hobbit movie is just heartbreaking, because it was just so right now they're not thinking of doing any more of Tolkien's work, so no more of the Silmarillion or anything, which I would love, but right now there's just nothing else in the works. So this is very much an end of an era for me, and just just because it's growing up with these, and this is just kind of it with the movies, it's a little bit heartbreaking, but so I'm going to be talking about the movie today, and there's obviously some stuff that wasn't in the book, and a lot of people got kind of pissy over it, and obviously when people change things in a book or from book to movie, kind of really, but just kind of overall, it was just so good. I quite literally bawled my eyes out for the rest of the night. Once I was done watching the movie, I could not stop crying. Also really quick, this is definitely going to be very spoilery, because I'm just going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff that happens kind of towards the end of the movie, so yeah. Anyways, so I guess the first question is, when did I first start crying? The opening credits. Yep, before they even showed anything and it was just the credits with the music playing, I started crying. Yeah, just because it was I realized this is the last time I'm going to be watching the opening credits, it's for The Hobbit, and it just broke me, and then I started crying. And then it was just random little things, just kind of got to me, and there's a scene that Bilbo was showing Thorin, Dad, I can talk, and he was saying that he kept it from Beorn's house from the second movie, and it just, everyone who watched the movie and who was in, the fandom, that scene just broke all of us, and we couldn't handle that scene. It was just, it doesn't make sense to anyone who hasn't seen the movie or isn't really into The Hobbit, but it broke us. It was just that moment of kind of innocence in a really dark time, and when Thorin was going quite mad, and just, I don't know, it was just heartbreaking. And then just the ending, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, I'm sorry, but I just can't organize myself with this movie, but the ending, when, I knew Thorin, Keely, and Feel were going to die. I knew they were going to die, going into this movie, but it was just so hard, because it's I expected, a little bit more, to the deaths, I guess. It was just, Azog dragged Feely over, and then he just got stabbed with the sword, and then it was just, so quick. There was no, it was, yeah, and then I was already crying, but then I just started straight up bawling, and, it was bad, and just, the whole battle, I guess, I felt was really well done. It's not quite the same like epicness of like the Lord of the Rings battles, because The Hobbit was done as a children's book, so it's not going to be quite on the same level, but it was really well done. I love the transitions between like the dwarves getting ready and then the Lakestown people getting ready. Just like the smoothness of the transitions between those made me really happy, and just the freaking synchronization of elves in battle. Let me tell you, that is so attractive, and I don't know why, but elves are just really pretty, in a general sense. So yeah, but like I felt like the battle was just kind of like my favorite part, even though it was like the most heartbreaking part, since that's where three of my favorite characters died. But like I felt like it was well done, and like it wasn't like overdone, because with The Hobbit it's like you can't. It was just kind of like a little bit simpler, but yeah, and just I felt like it was like I wish there was like more to the ending after the battle, after like Thorin died and Fili and Kili. Like I wish there was more like closure, kind of like. I feel like there wasn't too much time after they died, and when Bilbo said goodbye to the dwarves, there really wasn't much after that, and I felt like I wish there was more closure at the end. Just because it was kind of like Bilbo came back to the Shire, and he got his house back, his little hobbit hole, and then and then he freaking found his handkerchief that he wanted the very first movie, and I started crying at that, But and also when someone asked like, "Oh, who's this Thorin Oakenshield that you pledged your allegiance to?" and Bilbo just looks, and he's just like, "A friend," and just I started crying because Thorin was dead, and obviously they didn't know, and it was just. He spoke about him in present tense, you guys. You just can't just do that to someone. But yeah, and then they ended it with one of the beginning scenes from The Fellowship of the Ring, and then that broke me. And then it was the credits, and then it was Billy Boyd's song "The Last Goodbye," and I was honestly a hot mess. I started making my mom cry because I was crying so much. Like, she said she couldn't look over at me because then she would have started to cry because I was crying that much. But it was just, I mean, although I do wish there was like more closure, and I wish they would have put the funeral scenes into the movie, I still feel like it was a really good movie. Like, I felt like they did justice to like the book, and like it just felt good. But I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get the funeral scenes in the extended edition. So yeah, definitely marathoning all the Hobbit movies when the extended edition comes out. When the extended edition comes out, I will be marathoning probably all of the Lord of the Rings extended editions and all of the Hobbit extended editions, which, I mean, it's gonna take about 21 hours, but it's not a waste of time if you're wondering. Not for me. And it's just gonna be me bawling my eyes out, But yeah, overall it was a good movie, just more closure, but it's probably just coming from a very big fan of the books and movies. But yeah, and if you guys are interested in getting into Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, I would definitely recommend so. Just because like there's so much to it. Like Tolkien kind of created this whole world of things, and it was just there's so much more than just Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like he wrote so many other works, like kind of giving the history of Middle Earth, and just there's so much just to find out. Basically, you're always finding things out. But yeah, that was kind of my really basic review of The Hobbit. It was basically just me venting about the movie. I apologize, but yeah, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will catch up with you guys later.